Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Wednesday evening to you, wherever you may be. We're at home finishing up a homestand here at Dodger Stadium. Dodgers in Colorado, final game of the three-game series. On the mound for the Dodgers, Clayton Kershaw. He's beaten Colorado 3 straight. He is 6-1 against them in his last 9 starts, and he is 11-5 lifetime. We'll get to the ball game and a whole lot more coming up right after this.
It was kind of typical Kersh, but you don't know if that turns into something special.
This performance was about as pure a performance as I've ever seen.
Slow curveball got him looking.
Every ball that they hit, regardless of where they hit it, you gotta try to make the play.
Fair ball, long throw.
Everyone in the ballpark started to recognize that something special was happening.
All eyes, the whole story becomes Kershaw. Clayton Kershaw with a record of 6-2, and he's working on a 3-game winning streak, and his earned run average over that period of 3 wins, 1.8.
I remember going to Australia for opening day. It was actually a really cool experience. I really enjoyed getting to go to Sydney. I love the city. I had a blast, but the baseball part of it was tough. Getting hurt was kind of the icing on the cake after that game. You know, I started feeling something, you know, in the middle of the game, kind of something in like my upper tricep. I didn't really know what it was. I just thought I was like kind of tight. Sure enough, getting an MRI and I had something going on. I had to miss, 5 or 6 weeks, I think. So that's not a fun way to start the season, but thankfully, I felt pretty good pretty quickly and was able to come back pretty fast. The whole spring training and up until that time, I was feeling great and felt like I had good stuff that year. So thankfully it came back fast.
That was hard to go through at that time, but after he got back going though, that 2014 just shows, how hard he works and how when he did get healthy, as the season went on, it just seemed like he got stronger and was able to put a dominating year together.
2014, many of Clayton Kershaw's teammates said then and still say now was at the peak of his powers. I mean, the guy was on the way to not only the Cy Young Award, but the MVP. And during this stretch of time where he was throwing this no-hitter against the Rockies, he also was in the middle of pitching 41 consecutive scoreless innings.
2014 was a unique year. We go to Australia. Clayton has an arm injury, coming out of that. We're in Philadelphia. Donnie pulls me aside and said, "Hey, you're off tomorrow. You got Sunday off, so come to the ballpark the next day." Josh Beckett's on the mound. Drew Butera's behind the plate, and Josh is on, and he's got it rolling. Sure enough, he punches out Chase Utley to finish off that no-hitter, and we just erupt out of the dugout.
Josh Beckett, for the 21st time in Dodger history.
I go jump into the dog pile, and I come down, and I feel my foot just basically feel like it just completely turned underneath me. And I'm like, what did I land? And I look back, and there's Drew's mask sitting right on the pitcher's mound right there. And I am like, I thought I broke my ankle. Like, I thought it was done. We're flying back to LA that day. I'm pretty, I'm happy for Josh, but I'm also pretty like, gosh, like this, I cannot believe this happened and my ankle's like this. And I will never forget, I was sitting right across from Josh, and all of a sudden Josh pronounces to the airplane, "Yo, Greinke, yo, Kershaw, I'm giving out no-hitter lessons back here. Come on back and see me." And Greinke pops his head up, rolls his eyes, puts it down, and then Clayton comes back, and down the road, Clayton was gonna have his moment. So I guess he did take some of those lessons to heart.
So Clayton Kershaw working on the left-hand hitting Corey Dickerson playing left field. Take a look at the Dodgers with the leather, Gonzalez and Gordon, Ramirez and Rojas, with Kemp, Van Slyke and Puig, and A.J. Ellis catching his buddy Clayton Kershaw.
Those guys pretty tight, right? And it's a great relationship, when the catcher and the pitcher are not only friends off the field, but like get on the same page on the field. I think it makes the tempo of the game go better, see the trust of knowing what Kersh wants to do, and I think that always helps.
Well, I think you'll find that in most situations with great pitching, there's a catcher or two involved that has been part mentor, part leader, and when a catcher like AJ knows a pitcher as well as he does like Clayton, you're going to have a great combination because That's what it takes. It takes a constant conversation. It takes almost where, without saying anything, you know what's coming next.
They made a bond, a pitcher-catcher bond that just continues to be very close, those two, and they trusted each other. And that relationship, I think, the glue became when that trust factor that him and AJ were able to produce together, and they studied together and worked together so that they became just like one unit.
The best player in the league at that moment was Kersh, and knowing that every single start for him means being on an MVP caliber season, and the last thing you want to do is not doing your job for him, you know. And that was kind of my mentality. Every time I take the field with him pitching, that's my opportunity to show not just him, but the whole team and the whole organization that I can play behind one of the greatest. Going back to that day that he was starting on June 18 here at Dodger Stadium, same thing, you know. Every time that Kersh is pitching is something special going on, something special happens here in LA, and that day wasn't a difference.
Any Dodger season has been a great season with Kershaw on the mound. You know, Kersh was always our ace. I remember always being happy when it was Kershaw Day because the chances of winning were very high, and that game was no exception. He went out there and just dominated.
Takes a high curveball that dips into the strike zone for strike 3. Slow curveball. See you later. Oh, that's not fair. Here comes Kershaw, and it's chased and missed. A ball down out of the strike zone. And that's 5 strikeouts for Kershaw, and he's retired 8 in a row.
Every time he took the mound, I thought things like this were possible. There were rare games that the first inning was a struggle for him. They had 3 good hitters in the first inning, and so as pitch by pitch went by and hitter by hitter went by, you knew he had a chance.
I think what separated Clayton and what was such a benefit for me as a catcher working with me on the plate is I knew that pretty much every time he stepped on the mound, like he was gonna have his fastball command, and I was gonna have 1 or 2 breaking balls as like just a trump card. Like I was gonna have a curveball or a slider that I could use, you know, when the time came. That game, both breaking balls were trump cards. Honestly, it's Bexley back there just mix it up and don't overshow one pitch. The at-bat is very likely gonna end in a punch out.
Him being able to make those adjustments, you knew that he was special. He knew exactly what his goal was every night, and he wanted to be the guy and take the team deep into the ball game. He had this internal desire that he was going to not be denied.
And the Dodgers now preparing to go up against the left-hander Jorge De La Rosa. And the pitch to Matt Kemp, swung on, line drive, base hit to center. Ramirez scores, lines one down the left field line in there. They are going to wave Puig home. Tulowitzki's throw not in time. Strike 2 pitch is whacked into left field down the line. That will score Gonzalez. And Matt Kemp goes breezing into second base with a stand-up double. So Miguel Rojas comes up. The young third baseman finds the bases loaded.
When I came to the plate with bases loaded, I just feel like, okay, I want to get my job done, you know, like put something in the outfield. Driving my first 3 runs with a double like that, it was pretty special. I felt pretty good, and that helped me to kind of relax a little bit more on defense because something really special was about to happen.
Dodgers have done well with bases loaded, and a drive to left field. Back goes Dickerson, watching it go against the wall. In comes Kemp. In comes Van Slyke. Here comes Ellis on a double by Rojas, and the Dodgers lead 7-0.
So at that point as a starting pitcher, you just try to pound the zone as best you can and have quick innings so the guys can get back in the dugout, and you don't have to be as careful. I think you don't really live on the edges. You really just go right after guys. And for me, I was just trying to throw strikes and get ahead and finish guys quick.
It felt like a lot of his games were like that, where he's coming out, he's on the attack, he's gonna go get guys. He doesn't throw a ton of pitches in that regard.
So if he keeps getting outs, that will be the main part of the story, unless somehow the Rockies get off the floor. Breaking ball, Nubber. Kershaw makes the play. Well, down he goes. The out recorded at first. 6 strikeouts for Clayton. Off-speed breaking ball strikes him out. Parker way out in front of it. Curveball got him. Big overhand downer. Wow. Got him. 10 strikeouts for Clayton Kershaw, and maybe more importantly, 18 in a row.
You get off to start walking the field in the 6th, and you're just like, wow, you kind of glance at the board and like, man, that's 18 in a row. You know, we just got, one more stretch to go right here. You get to a point, or I don't think him and I had been that far together, through 6 innings of no-hit baseball, perfect baseball. So that's where, you start to the point where we're not talking, in between innings. We knew we had 9 outs to get.
So the stage is set. Let's sit back, watch, and see what develops. Breaking ball hit down to short. Ramirez throws it away. On the way to second base goes Dickerson, and the ball retrieved by A.J. Ellis.
Hanley, had a finger issue going into the game. We all knew that, his ability to throw was going to be hindered. There was a ball in the 7th inning that, for that play, he wasn't able to make an accurate throw due to his finger issue.
My role on that team was like coming in, laying games for Hanley because he didn't have a good shoulder. I think he was battling through some discomfort, shoulder, finger the night before. At that moment I was playing and I knew it was getting closer for him to get removed from the game because we have another options on the bench. Nobody really knows like the full story behind things, and I know he made the bad throw to first base to make an error. But there's a lot of things behind it. It wasn't an easy play. Charging that ball, throwing on the run with a bad finger, it's never easy.
Yeah, that's a play that Hanley Ramirez should make. And just when he made that error, there was a lot of disappointment and groans inside Dodger Stadium because everybody knew what was at stake at that point in time. His teammates are a little bit kinder to Hanley, saying that it was a tough play, coming in, charging the ball to make that play, but nonetheless, that was a play that I'm sure Hanley would say 9 times out of 10 he makes.
They put an error up, so it is E6, but of course, that immediately changes part of the story. It is no longer a bid for a perfect game.
I think he got to the point where most pitchers don't get to, and that is, I just control what I can control. I get on the mound, I do what I do, and the guy gets a hit, I'm going to get the next guy, or we don't make a play, I'm going to pick my guys up.
And now he's got Tulowitzki.
I think the only thing I remember about the Rockies that year was that Troy Tulowitzki was like on a tear. He was crushing the ball, and especially against lefties, so I knew that was going to be like the toughest out in the whole lineup.
I was super nervous, and like I said, not because winning or losing this game, because we got the lead already in the 7th. You still feel the necessity of like getting it done. As a young player, I didn't want to screw it up. At the same time, I feel like, okay, I'm confident on myself. I know I can do it. And I wanted every ball to be hitting to me because I wanted to be the hero or the villain. If something happened, I wanted to be coming to me and not leaving it in anybody else's hands.
Big bouncer, fair ball, long throw in the dirt, great kick by Gonzalez. Whoa, what a play that was. Miguel Rojas makes a great stop on the foul line and makes the long throw and a great scoop by Adrian Gonzalez.
That was a really hard play. It was like a chopper, and then he had to get the short hop on the backhand, super long throw, and Gonzo makes a great scoop on the back end of it. So, you need those plays when you're gonna throw no-hitters. You have to have great defense behind you. And obviously, Miggy's really great defensively, been a great shortstop for a long time, but he's an infielder, but third base maybe isn't his strongest position. Obviously, he's a shortstop, so for him to make that throw in the hole on a backhand like that was really cool.
He actually is one of those plays where you have flashbacks right away. I don't play there a long time before I received the opportunity to play in the big leagues. And I remember when I was playing back in Venezuela, a ball like that was hit to me and I didn't take a good route, and the ball kind of eats me up because it's like one of those spinners that are gaining velocity when it gets hit. But in this one, I remember the play right away, and I went back. That's why I catch the ball like almost in the outfield grass, foul ball territory. I was able to put myself in a good position, but it was a 50-50 play. It could have eaten me up. I still feel like, I mean, that's my job. I needed to make that play. I'm happy that it helps to contribute on something really, really special.
Before that, though, before Tulowitzki came up, like Clayton had a runner on second and nobody out. You know, thinking back, how does this game look differently if, you know, Brandon Barnes hits a ground ball to second base and then Tulowitzki hits a ground ball in an 8-0 game and it's an 8-1 game. It doesn't have the same feel of a no-hitter, but that's definitely in the cards. Clayton's ability to strike out Barnes in that moment, you know, and keep everything intact, everything in line, was just a massive play in that game. And then to turn the lineup over to Will and Rosario, and then just to drop a devastating, you know, 2-strike curveball that just fell from the heavens and fell in there, and just to trot off the field there in the 7th. And now you're smelling we're 6 outs away.
And then after the 7th inning, you're like, this is real. And then every out, you kind of feel the build up. The crowd kind of feels it too. So you kind of get those nerves all over again, like the beginning of the game, like, hey, every out kind of means something. The crowd kind of feeds off of it, and it starts to get a little bit more fun after the 7th inning.
Slow curveball got him looking. It is now time to take it seriously. Curveball got him. Slow breaking ball. 14 strikeouts, a career high, and he is 4 outs away. And the outs get bigger and heavier each time. One hopper right at Gonzalez. For 8 innings, he has not allowed a hit. Heaves a big sigh of relief as he walks off the field, and he has 3 outs to go. Now 3 men standing between him and the no-hitter.
And at this point, you know, the Rockies have definitely tipped their hand that they know he's got some stuff going on, and they do not want to wait around, and they want to swing the bats.
You know, because those later innings, teams are, you know, really fighting, and like they know it's a no-hitter. You know, the at-bats have a chance to like turn into more foul balls, more close takes.
Usually when something special's going on in the stadium, Dodger fans are so knowledgeable, they understand the moment. So once you start getting to the final 9 outs, every strike, the fans were cheering like it was the final out of the game. Everybody was certainly feeling the tension at that point in time.
And now, if you don't mind, I'm going to sit back and watch it with you.
As far as nerves go, you know, I think beginning of the game you feel some nerves, kind of settle under a routine, but when something special is happening, you know, later in the game, you kind of get those butterflies built up, maybe in the 9th inning again, and then 9th inning starting, and, you know, they were swinging, coming out.
Big bouncer, Gonzalez hangs it, Kershaw for the putout.
Clayton executes a perfect fastball middle in, and, you know, DJ, even with a good inside-out swing, can't get to it. Here comes Charlie Culberson, again, like, all right, this guy's gonna probably want to see a pitch, coming off the bench, and good fastball middle in, again, excellently located to Charlie.
High fly ball to shallow right. Gordon out, Puig is there. And there is 1 out to go.
Here's Corey Dickerson stepping in for the 4th plate appearance of the day, and we're 1 out away from a no-hitter.
So the last batter was Corey Dickerson. He was a leadoff hitter. I remember I got 0-2, I think, pretty quick, or maybe 1-2, and he fouled one off that like AJ sprinted for, and I sprinted for, and I would never sprint for a ball that like was that far foul. But I had some nervous energy, you know, so I sprinted over there.
Curveball, pop foul. AJ coming over, no play. Ellis would have run through a brick wall to catch that thing if he could.
I was going to do whatever it took, and it's funny, like, listening back, you know, the iconic, you know, Vin Scully, you know, even make reference and said AJ would have ran through a brick wall for his buddy, and, you know, that's not a hyperbole. In that moment, there was nothing I wouldn't have done.
I remember the home plate umpire, Greg Gibson, he just said, take your time. You know, he understood the situation. He didn't want me to be like, it was just nice reassurance to be like, hey, you don't have to go as fast as you think you have to go. You can take your time, take a deep breath, no pitch clock. You can take an extra lap around the mound if you need to, and it's just another game if you don't get that 3rd out.
And there is 1 out to go. 1 0-2. He's done it.
It was awesome. I mean, that was really fun. Teammates and AJ, and then, having Ellen come down. Thankfully, Ellen was at the game. Obviously, after the last out, you can kind of let it all sink in. And anytime you do something as a team, with the team, even though it's an individual accomplishment, having people to celebrate with is really cool. They were all really excited for me, and it was super fun.
Stadium erupts. You look out, you glance out at him, he's got the hands up. This thought had crossed my mind at some point either in the 8th or 9th inning that if in a no-hitter, I was going to leave my mask at home plate because I did not want what happened to me to happen to anybody else. If you watch the replay, I do leave my mask at home plate before I run out there and embrace him just a mere seconds before the entire Dodgers dugout reached him as well.
Yeah, it was special for AJ, I know too. Anytime as a catcher that you put in that much work, to be able to have a successful game plan and then to have it all work out. And I know there's a huge sense of accomplishment for catchers too, and they get to call no-hitters. And so AJ deserves a lot of credit too. It was a really cool night for him, and I know it was for me.
It was very fitting that would be the combination to one of the greatest games ever pitched. But I think when you think about how many pitches he threw, he didn't walk anybody. He barely went over 100 pitches and just was in complete control the entire game.
15 strikeouts, not a walk, not a hit, never has been done before in Major League history, and it was electric at Dodger Stadium. Nobody left, they all wanted to be there for history.
That night, to go through that lineup and also record 15 strikeouts and keep your pitch count in somewhat a decent shape, everything was just electric that night and was just a beautiful thing to watch.
Words can't explain what it was like to experience that with my best friend in baseball. To know what he would do to put himself in a position to be great, the way that he allowed me to be a part of it, and to feel like I was more of a part of it than I probably was special. And this is by far the crowning achievement of my career, in the moment that I'm probably most proud of and most excited to reminisce on and share with other people. And as this is part of a special time as a Major League Baseball player, getting to catch Clayton in that stretch that he was on and just being a part of it.
Was it one of the greatest individual accomplishments of his career? In a certain sense, yes, but without the great play by Miguel Rojas, without A.J. Ellis being there to be his catcher and his servant that night, it doesn't happen, and that never fell short on Clayton.
I mean, I think the only thing I can say is that all the stuff that you do on the field, eventually that'll all go away. I just think that the relationships that you have with people are ultimately kind of all that matters. And how you affect other people, how you treat the people in your clubhouse that you see every day for 12 hours a day. And AJ was a great example of that for me. And for me to be a part of that is, I'll take that. That's pretty cool.
All right, Vin, thank you very much. Clayton Kershaw, first no-hitter of your career. You're a bit emotional already. Congratulations. If it is possible, please take me through the emotion. Where does this rank in already such a historic career for you?
As far as individual games go, this is pretty special. I'll remember this for the rest of my life. And get to do it at home, it's even better. This is amazing. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.